He's an icon around the world, and he's pound for pound one of the greatest that's ever played professional sport.
Who's your point guard?
I'm gonna go with AI, because he was fearless.
So I want to ask you guys, in your career, who did you not want to face the most?
AI was mine.
All right.
I loved it. It's not that I didn't want to face him, but knowing that it's going to be an uphill battle. You know, I always had a tough time with little, really fast guys. And as you can see right there, he got by me pretty easy.
Bubble Chuck!
But he was just fearless.
Oh, but
you
it was
know,
love.
he was fearless. I mean, he never let up. I mean, he was a warrior. You couldn't bully him. I could bully a lot of guys. You couldn't bully him. I mean, AI was my guy for sure.
In the category of missed opportunities and what if and living totally up to potential, does Allen Iverson fit in there at all for any of you here?
No.
No, I don't think so.
He reached it to.
He maxed out.
He maxed out. I don't think there's any guard that size other than Isaiah that's going to have that career. I don't think anyone.
I think a lot of the guards like Ty Lawson, they thanking Allen Iverson, thanking guys like Isaiah to say, you know what, if I'm 5'10", 5'11", or even 6 foot, I can use my quickness. If I got a jump shot, use the pick and roll. Allen Iverson said that he can get knocked down 100 times, he's getting right back up.
Yeah, but
I think he maxed out. Yeah, I don't think he. You won't look at Allen Iverson and say he did not reach his potential. I mean, he was MVP of our league once. You know,
Four-time scoring champion.
Yeah, so
there's nothing. If you get more out of that, if he gets more out of that, unbelievable talent, you know, and an unbelievable culture impact. He made your appearance, your demeanor, your attitude that people thought were threatening, not non-threatening.
Right.
He drove me to be more obsessive about the game, because I had to figure out how to solve that problem, you know. And I told him when I saw him here this weekend, I said, man, you don't realize how much you push me, and I don't think people nowadays realize how great you were as a player, and how big of a problem you were for defenses.
Rick, I remember my first year coaching in Toronto. I'm in this little restaurant I go to, a little quiet place. In walks AI. We got a Sunday afternoon game, 12 o'clock, and AI is hanging pretty good, and it's early, and I'm sending them drinks, and I'm like, AI, keep drinking up, keep eating. And he looks at me as he's drinking one of my drinks. He said, Coach, it's not going to work. I love Toronto. I like to put a show on here. And he commenced to coming out and giving us about 49 the next day at 12 o'clock. To me, pound for pound, one of the most toughest competitors in the NBA. He knew he was going to get hit, knew he was going to get beat, but yet he kept getting up and he kept coming. And so, like Grant said, much deserved, one of the toughest players ever in the history of this game for his size.
Who was like the hardest player that like every year you're like, yeah, I gotta be ready for this guy? Like
Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson. Because I always say, like, Allen was that he was like that white boy player in high school that played balls hard, like sweating on you playing.
Okay,
but he was the talent. It was the talent. You know what I mean? He's playing 150 miles an hour the whole time.
Do you remember how many points you had in that game against Iverson when he scored 60?
No, I don't. He scored 60. We lost. It was a tough loss. So I don't remember.
You had 16.
I had 16.
You had 16. Just rubbing it in a little bit more here, Grant.
Yeah, hey, you know what?
Newsflash, whenever they ask you a question like that, they already know the
answer. They know the answer?
Okay.
I appreciate that, vet.
No banana in the tailpipe, okay?
Trying to stop him from scoring was a whole issue on itself.
Yeah.
Because, green light, green light, green light. He had no conscience. He's trying to score 50, 60. Yeah. But it's matching his energy was what people didn't understand. Right. You got to match his energy to even compete with the 60. Right. You know what I mean? So it's one of those guys, you got to pick him up, 64 feet. You got to do all that. It's because, like on offense, you got to try to get him tired when you don't have the ball because you don't want him to rest because he's doing the same thing. To be honest, you'd rather guard Kobe.
Really?
Than Allen.
Why?
Because with Kobe, he's gonna go to his spots. You're gonna get someone who's trying to score 60, but there's different types of 60.
Yeah.
This guy he's a 60 headache. It's like, it's just a non-stop coming. Like, I know, Kobe got the ball every single time, but it didn't actually feel like it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it went through offense. It went through offense, he cut, passed it, backdoor, this. Okay, he looked around, he didn't like it, passed it, reposted it. Okay, whew, got some breaks. Allen, as soon as he got the ball, he went to go try to score. If he didn't, he passed it, got it back, then tried to score.
Yeah.
He didn't like that, he got it, then tried to score.
Yeah.
It's like, God, like you. So you're sitting here like, stop me real quick.
Yeah.
and don't have on number 3.
Yeah.
If you had on number 3, he took it personal.
I wore number 3 because of Iverson. He changed the whole culture of the game. And, one of my pound for pound best player to ever play, 6 foot, 155, but the stuff he was doing was unheard of, man, unseen. So, I got tremendous amount of respect for Allen Iverson. The way he changed the game, it was an honor just to be able to play against him the 2 or 3 years he was in the league when I got in.
I really looked up to AI. He had heart, carried his team, he scored, he played D, and he was small. It would have been crazy. I think that would have been the person that probably would have made me be starstruck a little bit. When I finally played against Kobe, it was my first game, and I was like, that's Kobe. I was kind of tripping out about it, but if AI was on the court, I probably would have been like, man, this really AI in front of me.
Talk a little about Allen Iverson for a second. First of all, two-part question. I want to know what you think of his game. He had 32 points, but 9 turnovers. And number 2, for a rookie, does he talk a little too much on the court?
Well, he's very confident, and I think I can understand where he's coming from. He wants to be respected in this league, and he certainly has the right skill.
Is he the quickest guy you've faced?
He's very quick. Him as well as Stoudemire, and I think both of those guys are very, very quick.
And I got a lot of flack from my teammates, you know what I mean? Because they were like, basically teasing me like, you're not gonna play your game tonight, huh? Because you're playing against your guy, you're not gonna come with it, huh? I'm like, nah, you know what I mean? So I was being this tough guy with them.
I used to always tell my family and my friends and my teammates in college and high school, said, even the guys on my team for the Sixers said, if I get the greatest player to ever play the game on me, I'm gonna try my move on him. So I remember I came off a screen or something, and I heard Phil Jackson say his name. Mike called him to switch out on me.
Iverson has Jordan. The crowd is into it.
I gave him a little cross to see what he bite on it. I let him set his feet, and then I stepped it back again.
Allen shakes free, gets 2! Mike said no. Allen said yes. The bucket, the crowd loves it.
And I gave him a little one, and he went for it. And I was like, oh yeah, I got his ass now. I don't know if I can say it in here, but it was like, MF, you don't love me, you wouldn't have crossed me like that. So.
The great thing about it, I never had to guard him because I wasn't stupid enough to switch on him after I saw what he did to MJ.
Little guy's not supposed to be doing that. Little guy's not supposed to be crossing up the greatest player ever to play the game twice and not go anywhere. Little guy's not supposed to come in and get knocked to the floor and still come back up. Little guy's not supposed to do whatever he wants to do. Little guy's not supposed to be a 3-time scoring champ.
4,
excuse me. So that's why I think he had a bigger impact. I think people can relate to him more because it's not a lot of guys that are 7'11". It's not a lot of guys that are 7'1", but it's a lot of guys that are 6 foot, 5'9", 5'10".
And one story I have. We have a practice. He's going hard as I don't know what. The media's been on him, kind of all this, and he's just mad. He's quiet, he's not saying nothing. I'm like, oh yeah, I feel something coming. Go to Milwaukee. It was the best game I've ever seen by a teammate in my life. He gave them 60-something, passing the ball, doing his thing. We used to wear hockey pads. You know the pads that go, you guys probably wore them too, the pads that go all the way around you. I used to see him after games, bruised, banged up, and his only thing was, yo, Webb, I gotta go hard. If they watch me, this the first night, this might be the first time anybody's ever come see me play. It's just an honor to watch that guy play, man. I'm proud to say I played with him.
I think for a guy his size, he was the most intimidating player in the NBA. I mean, you think about a guy 6 foot, 160 pounds, he was intimidating because physically he had a level of speed that nobody had ever seen. You know about the killer crossover, but to see Webb's point, the athleticism and then the relentless attack mode that he was in. Because that was the thing that made him so tough, because some guys you would play against, and Rick, you know, they're gonna take 16, 18 shots a game. You know, you're gonna have an opportunity to defend them. Iverson would go out there and take 35, 40 shots. He was in attack mode the entire game, and that just put a tremendous amount of pressure on 5 guys defensively. It wasn't just the point guard. I just never seen anybody like him.
He's just fearless. That's what I respect most about him. He brought it night in and night out. You talk about guys that had an attack mode like Jordan and Kobe, that they're always compared. He's on par with them in terms of his aggressive attack to the game. You know, you saw him tear up a little bit when he was talking about this year. This was the NBA Finals, 2001.
2001.
But, you know, he went out and single-handedly carried them to that first game win in that series, and we fortunately came back and won that.
So there's a very iconic quote that you said. I thought it was lit. You said, "The better you look, the better you play."
He made guys who wouldn't wear braids wear braids. He might have, like, I don't even know if Tim Duncan.
Some people wearing braids too long now.
Yeah, true.
Too long. Yeah.
But I'm saying, like,
too long.
Like, it was a stereo, it was a profile. And I think, you know, the way he dressed and what he did, he kind of changed the whole culture and the attitude. And you had guys, you know, I even think maybe Tim Duncan had some braids at one time, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's kind of all, he just changed your thought process in a good regard in that way, even though there were certain things he could have did better.
And with that, let's just talk about the legend that is the arm sleeve.
Right.
Conspiracy theorists will say you used it to cover up tats. Other people say you had a little situation with your elbow, and then you wore it for every game for the rest of your career. How did this sleeve
I used to, you ever play sports?
Of course, I play basketball.
Okay, so you're right-handed.
Yep.
So the right side of my body, whenever I would fall or something, I would fall on the strongest part of my body all the time. So when I was in Georgetown, I used to fall all the time, whatever. And my friends used to tease me because I had a big bursa sack on my arm. And then I went and had surgery on it, and it was still flaring up. So I would have to get it drained before every game. And when it all didn't come out, they gave me, it wasn't what people wear now.
That we see now, right?
Yeah,
right.
it was just some cloth, and it pushed it in. You know what I mean? So then they made one for me, and I wore it, and then my elbow got better, but I got used to it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then I was like, okay, well, let me just throw some styles with it. So then I started putting the spider webs on it. In the Olympics, I put the USA on it, and then I just started doing stuff with it.
He meant everything to me. You know, I grew up in North Carolina, and I loved Michael Jordan to death. But I think Allen Iverson had the biggest influence on the game of basketball than anybody. You know, I don't even think it's close. And a lot of kids and even guys in the NBA will tell you, you know, the sleeves that guys wear in their arms now, that's Allen Iverson. You know, some guys wear it as a fad now and stuff like that, but that's Allen Iverson. When I was a kid, I wanted braids because of Allen Iverson. You know, I wear number 3 the way that I play because of Allen Iverson. So it was tough to see him retire because, you know, he's AI. But like I said, it's a few guys that I played against in the league. I'll never forget the first time I played against him.
No, pound for pound, probably one of the best players that we've seen, and you know, his heart, you know, can never be judged. What he was able to give to this Sixers franchise, man, and you know, I think anytime you bring Allen Iverson's name up, they will always think great things about him because of his ability to play the game at a high level every night.
Gary, when I say Allen Iverson, what do you think of?
A great scorer, a great competitor. He did a lot of things that people didn't understand.
Michael Jordan, number 1, Allen Iverson was number 2, and obviously Kobe's number 3, my top 3 favorite players of all time.
He was a great competitor. He went at everybody. He was the scorer that he was. He would never be another little man scorer like that ever in history, I don't think, of way he can play basketball.
Gary, what were the biggest challenges in guarding Allen Iverson?
My biggest challenge was to not let him cross me open and break my ankles, for one, you know, and then plus, you couldn't let him have both worlds. Him and Tim Hardaway wanted both worlds. They wanted to break you down and go to the bucket, and then plus shoot the jump shot, and both of them could do that. So when my thing was, let me just keep him in front of me and hope that he doesn't make jump shots and with it contested, and let him beat me that way instead of beating me all the ways, because when he penetrates on me, he's breaking everything
Where
down.
do you put him in your top players to have to defend? Where is he on that scale?
Oh, he's up there. I think he's got to be in my top 5.
Top 5?
He has to be in my top 5 because he was the hardest player because he's so small and he was so quick.
Mm-hmm.
And he can do both. You know, he can shoot and he can drive and he'll finish.
AI has been doing it for years. You know, his crossovers, his toughness. One game in Philly, he was just racking the points up.
Iverson finds his way in for 2. How did he do that?
You know, it was one game where he was killing us in Philly. He was killing, like, our guards. And Doc gave me that look like, it's your assignment now. The dude never stops running. So I got to score and I got to slow him down. I was so tired after the game. I was the last one in the shower just like soaking and trying to figure out why am I so tired from guarding and chasing this dude all over the court. But he was a joy to compete against.